6 is on your side with major progress on Interstate 29 through Council Bluffs. The stretch east of downtown has reopened to through traffic.
Yeah, 6 First Alert traffic reporter Jarrett Lansford tells us the actual finale to this project is within sight.
After nearly 2 years of disruptions, commuters are now relieved that Interstate 29 has reopened in Council Bluffs near Interstate 480.
If you live or work on the corridor, the traffic on the frontage roads is dropped a lot. Should be a lot less traffic going across because the interstate traffic's now back up on the interstates.
It was November 2021 when traffic was first detoured off of I-29 so that the interchange could be rebuilt. The new setup includes those frontage roads, which are designed to help traffic flow.
Living on the corridor, it'll be a lot easier to get on and off of the interstate system if you live in the area. So we have all these new connections that didn't exist previously. And so that's for the frontage road system.
Interstate drivers who are just passing through will also benefit from the changes.
If you're on the interstate, what you'll notice is the curves are wider, so you can maintain interstate speed through the area. It's all about maintaining interstate mobility and connectivity.
The project isn't quite done yet. The ramp from southbound I-29 to westbound I-480, which will be used to cross the Missouri River into Omaha, is still under construction. It is expected to be opened in early October. Once that is complete, it will mark the end of a long period of impacts to drivers through the area. For 6 First Alert Traffic in Council Bluffs, Jarrett Lansford, 6 News.
And until the ramp to westbound 480 is complete, drivers will still need to exit Interstate 29 and use the frontage roads to go to Omaha. The Iowa DOT urges drivers to pay attention to the lower speeds on these roads compared to interstate speeds.